Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. This is Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. And today I am so excited. We have a very special guest on the show today. A few of you might know him from doing the morning TA show for BitBoy Crypto. He's been on Around the Blockchain a handful of times now. In fact, he was on there just this afternoon. So I just want to give a nice warm welcome to Piano Matty B. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. How you doing?
Man, absolutely. It's an honor. How you doing today?
Good. Well, it's hot up here in Canada. It's 30 degrees, and that's about 10 degrees hotter than I can handle.
Yeah. What part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Winnipeg, which is right in the middle of the whole country.
Awesome, man. That's cool. I grew up in Washington State, so I spent a handful of days and a few times up in Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
enjoying Vancouver, Canada. Always loved it up there.
Where are you now?
I live in Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
So, born and raised in Washington State. Got tired of all of the rain and decided I wanted some sunshine and palm trees. Moved here to Las Vegas about 15 years ago.
Right on. What were you doing when you got to Vegas? Were you working in the gambling environment or?
Yeah, actually, I was a poker dealer.
So was I.
Yeah. Nice, man. Yeah, it sounds like we had a lot in common. I know that you had watched a couple of my videos and had, made a post that you had played, poker for many, many years also.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started dealing poker in 2002 in Washington State. And then I moved to Vegas in 2007. My first job was at the MGM Grand. And then over the next, 10, 12 years, I quit dealing poker in 2019. I worked at the Venetian, the Wynn, dealt the World Series of Poker a couple of times at the Rio. And, I probably worked at 6 or 7 different casinos over the years dealing poker. And I also played, semi-professionally. I really only dealt as much as I needed to.
Right.
And, in the poker industry, you can EO. It's pretty flexible. You don't have to work a lot if you don't want to. So I played a lot too.
How does one start at MGM and then end up at the Venetian? Like, can you quit and walk across the street and get a job at another poker room?
Well, I mean, normally what would happen here in Vegas when you first get on at a casino, you're what's called an extra board or like part-time. I got a fly in here that's driving me crazy. Sorry, guys. So like at the MGM, I was working, 2 or 3 days a week. Sometimes when it was busier, 4 or 5. But in order to kind of survive, a lot of times you needed to have multiple jobs. And so with experience, it's pretty easy to get on at multiple places. You would just apply. So like at the Venetian, they do a lot of tournament series. Mm-hmm. And so what I would do is I would work real hard for a month and a half at the Venetian, and then I might not deal at the Venetian for a month or 2 or 3 until they had their next tournament series. And so you kind of piece together enough work by working at multiple places so that you ended up with a full-time or more, employment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you just do poker or did you deal other table games?
No, I just did poker. I never learned all of the casino games and never really had a desire to. I really love the poker. When you play as much as I play and love poker like I did, it was kind of a fun way. If you had to work for somebody else, dealing poker was a pretty good way to make a living.
Yeah. And now no poker or what?
Very little. I found that poker was a means to an end, that I really liked the freedom that it gave me. Even though if you're not playing poker, you're not making any money, but so you still have to kind of do the grind, but at least it was on my, I was calling the shots. I could play when I wanted to play. I could quit when I wanted to quit. I didn't have to ask anybody if I could go to the bathroom or when I could take a vacation. And so once I kind of got that through crypto and my portfolio took off and gave me the freedom, I still love poker, but I don't have anywhere near the desire to play it a lot as I used to.
When you got into crypto back in the day, did people think you were crazy?
I think there was some people that probably thought I was crazy. At the same time, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life and been going from one avenue to another, really searching for financial freedom. So I think that most of my friends and family and people thought, well, here's the next new thing. Let's see what,
Right.
they probably weren't expecting it to be successful because it hadn't come to fruition yet. But,
Right.
so yeah, there's been some surprise, but at the same time, I think a lot of people were less surprised than I thought they were. I kind of thought that there was a lot of people going, oh, I don't believe it. Varnell finally made it. And then it really kind of turns out when I talk to people more that they really did believe that it was just a matter of time. They saw my drive, they saw my desire, and it was just a matter of finding the right thing.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So what about you? You say, where did you deal poker at, and how did that come about for you?
Well, I dealt poker like as kind of backdoor poker. I was a traditional casino dealer. I did blackjack and roulette. It was like kind of the only real job, if you can call it that, I had in my whole life. And I only did it to go on cruise ships. I thought, well, this is a vehicle to get on a cruise ship and travel around the world and do that. And as soon as I could, you needed 6 months of land-based experience. Then you could apply for a cruise ship. And as soon as I had it, I applied and then quit and didn't think I would get it. And then 2 months later, a Carnival phoned me up. And then I did one of those 9-month tours, and it was horrible. But when I came back, that's kind of when poker started getting big. And a buddy of mine started a poker company making custom poker tables for people. So we would build them. And we had so many in stock that we started throwing poker tournaments. And then unbeknownst to us, we kind of became the poker kings of Winnipeg for about 3 years. And the reason why I don't play poker anymore is that I probably have heard more bad beat stories than any other human in the world, because as the owner of the company and running the poker tournament, they'd all come to me and tell me their bad beat story, and I just started hating it. And I never looked back. But I can't even remember the last year I played, but I did like it. It was fun. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So how do you go from that to being, doing the morning Crypto T.A for the biggest YouTuber, crypto YouTuber out there, BitBoy Crypto?
Yeah, the whole thing is so bizarre that how it happened, because when you get into the YouTube game, it's a lonely, unsatisfying uphill battle with very few peaks. You know what I mean? Like you can work forever, make good content, and just I don't know how it works. Still to this day, I don't know how it worked. But when Winnipeg was locked down, my little boy was 4. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to do this show called, his name's Duke and Daddy, and he can sit on my piano and I'll teach him how to read, and I'll make all these things, kind of letters appear on the TV, and this is what we'll do in lieu of school. And that, to nobody, like I'd click live and there'd be zero. If there was one person, it was my mom. And but we just did it as a thing to do. And over that time, I kind of built the style of the show that you see now, with things coming in and out and kind of like cartoony aspects of it. And all the while I was watching Ben, like early on, like I think I was watching Ben when he was like where I am now, like in the YouTube game, just kind of starting. I think he was in, I don't know if it was his mom's basement, but it was somewhere. It was not very far from his studio. Anyway, I just kept watching him, and it was like my kind of morning ritual. And then all of a sudden his channel started to grow exponentially. Like it went from 7 to 70. And then all of a sudden it was in this other room. And I just remember thinking, what's happening here? Is he the tip of the spear as far as YouTube goes? Like Bitcoin content. Anyway, his channel was growing so fast. And one day he said, hey, we're looking for a TA guy. If you live in the Atlanta area, come down or send an email. And then TJ was like, well, I suppose if you can make videos, you might as well send in a video. And he's like, yeah, okay, send in a video. So I didn't think anything of it, right? It just went in one ear because it's like, yeah, well, I'm not going to do, even though I have a background in TA, I never put the two things together because it was just, I was in crypto and I watched Ben, big deal. And then one day I was prepping for Duke and Daddy, and like my downstairs studio is a full, like it's got lights, camera, screens. Like I did a lot to make the show good for my mom to watch. Right?
Right.
And so I was just thinking Duke wasn't there, and I was all set up. I'm like, wow, I might as well make a TA video for Ben. Like I've got all the stuff here. I might as well make it. So I made a quick little video talking technical analysis and how I traded them in my background in currency trading. And when I sent it away to him, to me, Ben was at the level where it was kind of like, as a musician, it's like sending a demo tape to Sony Music. I had no anticipation of him even returning it, right? Just like you would send it to Sony. You're not going to hear from Sony. And then 3 weeks later, I got an email saying, we're picking up what you're putting down. Do you want to do a Zoom call? And at that point I was like, this is insanity, right? Because Ben at that time was, and is still, the biggest. He was like the biggest YouTuber in the world. I know Crypto, there's that guy in Britain, he might have more subscribers, but Ben overall on the big social media thing is much larger. So it's very bizarre. And in Winnipeg, I don't really know anyone else in crypto. And Winnipeg is a population of 800,000, and there are people that, like, I know a couple of people, but we don't talk all the time, right? So I'm basically in a little bubble, doing my own thing. So there was no one to say, you're not going to believe this, Ben Armstrong. First off, they wouldn't know who that is, right?
Yeah.
BitBoy Crypto, he's the biggest crypto YouTuber. No one knew who it was. So it was kind of a weird celebratory situation by myself, not knowing what was going to happen. And then when I Zoom called with him, he said something like, we got thousands of applicants for this, right? I'm like, I would assume so, right? And he's like, yours was the weirdest. Which I understood, because it's basically a lounge piano doing TA. And at that stage, it isn't what it is now. It was very, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm 50% getting to know where I'm going. But there, I was just flying by the seat of my pants. There was not a lot of singing, not a lot of piano playing. The editing was still kind of early on. Anyway, he said, can you do one for tomorrow? Right. And this was Monday or whatever. So that night I woke up at, 3 a.m., did a video, and they wanted to do a time, how long it would take me. And it took me about 3 or 4 hours. And then when I uploaded that video to them, I went upstairs and I'm like, there's no way they're going to play that video. It was just too ridiculous for me. The concept, I think, how could anyone get this, right? But they liked it. And then every day after that, I think it lasted on his channel for about 9 months till they kind of rebranded everything. But it was so bizarre.
Right.
I still, like, you would understand if we were buddies back then and I said, Brad, Ben returned my email about the crypto show, you would be like, oh my God, right? But there was nobody here. Like, no one understood the levity of BitBoy Crypto back in the day. So it was pretty funny.
Man, I'm very awesome.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate for Ben. One thing that people don't realize is that he does so much for up and coming crypto content makers. And I know from experience, sometimes when a YouTuber gets to a certain degree, that's it. A degree of success, that's it. You never hear from them again. If you're friends with them, well, I don't know, they're big time. They might see you every now and then, but they're definitely not going to help you as a YouTube creator. But Ben is like, I don't know, people don't give him enough credit for that, because that's really something that you don't see a lot.
I agree 100%. And, I've really loved getting to know Ben over the last couple of years through his videos. The story behind the story so often is so amazing. I didn't know for a long time that he had, the problems with drug addiction, and that 15 years ago, he got his life together, had almost died. But now here he is. He's got a beautiful wife and an amazing family. And as we both know, because we're going through the grind ourselves, we understand that first 2 or 3 years where it probably felt to him like he was just spinning his wheels and wasting his time with his YouTube channel. And then all of a sudden it exploded. So I'm with you. It gives us all hope. And I agree with you 100%. He's amazing at helping some of us smaller YouTubers when he sees, potential, when he sees, I think what Ben really is looking for, is your heart, the integrity, the morals, and the fact that you're really there to help other people, that you're not just doing this YouTube channel trying to make money, that you really do care about people, and you care about cryptocurrency and moving the whole space forward. And when he sees that in you, he definitely jumps in and helps. I've been very fortunate to get on around the blockchain, and I love Ben and continue to look forward to building that relationship as the years go by.
How did you and Ben hook up?
So I actually I tried to meet him at Bitcoin 2022 last April, there in Florida. I could not find him. He's all over the place, and it's a huge convention center. I never met him personally, but I have some friends. In fact, Rob from Sin City Crypto, him and his partner David, we all met through a private sale that we got involved with, and then we kind of became friends. And so when they got onto around the blockchain, I kind of asked them how they did it and got introduced to to Drew, and sent in an email. And the next thing I knew, I got invited to be on the show the first time. And luckily I must have done something that they liked, because they've invited me back a handful more times. But it was really just kind of through building relationships and working with other YouTubers. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to invite you onto the show, is because I believe the more that we can all create this family, this community of people helping people, it's good for all of us. I don't believe in tearing down other people in order to build myself up. I want to build up other people and then grow in the process. So
for sure.
real quick, let's go to the chat here real fast. I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Haydar Malik. He seems like he's always the old number one person in the chat. He always shows up first. And then speaking of your mom, here's my dad, Bob Varnell, one of my first subscribers, one of my biggest supporters. Thanks for being on the show. And then I've got my cousin Steve, it looks like, is here. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Wood Dust 66. Yeah, I went to the bathroom every once in a while when I played poker. Not a whole lot, but yeah, you had to go every once in a while. Thank you so much for being here. This is a new name that I don't recognize. I'm not sure if that's one of your subscribers that maybe popped over to watch the show, but great to have you. Thank you for being here. We've got a Group Business Consulting. Hey, hi, Brad. Love your channel. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And then one of my favoriteest people in the world, this is my wife. She always comes on and helps me with the chat, reminds me that she's the one that always reminds me, tell them that it's not financial advice. And then, hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, folks, appreciate you all being here. Please hit that like button and get this YouTube algorithm to push this out to some other people. We got Alex Diaz in the chat. Hello and welcome. Here we go. We got BitBoy Mod Crypto, Matt and Brady. Such amazing words about Ben. Yeah, I think we both really love Ben a lot. Love Preet. Hey, how's it going? Ben is not on the channel today, so he's not going to be able to answer that question. But thank you for being here. We got the BitBoy Crypto again. Okay. And then we've got Paul. Goes by Anazette on YouTube. Thank you all for being here. And then real fast, folks, do me a favor. I'm going to give away a $20 bill right now. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go over here to Matty's YouTube channel. So for those of you that have the ability to hop over on YouTube, let's go over here to Piano Matty B's YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel. And then this is how we're going to give away the $20 to one of you that is watching. I want you to go to this last video that he did 11 hours ago, Bitcoin Eyes Breakout. Watch these key levels. I want you to go to this video and throw a comment down here. And we're going to have you all, we're going to give you guys a few minutes to do that, but subscribe to his channel, throw a comment on this video about what you like best about this live stream, or just whatever's on your mind. If you got a question for Matty, throw a video or throw a comment on this video, and then we will have Matty go back to the YouTube channel in a few minutes and pick out his favorite comment. And whoever he picks, I'm going to send him $20 in BUSD or some type of currency on the Binance Smart Chain network. Yeah, that's something I've been on several different people's live streams, and I always appreciated Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto. He always did that whenever I was on his live stream, helped me get a few new subscribers and promote my channel, and I always love that about him. So I try and to pay that forward. So folks, go, and there's in the link of this video. The link to Piano Matty B's YouTube is right there, so it should be easy. In fact, let me also just grab it right here and send you the link to this latest video here in the chat, so that it's no excuses to not go and check out Matty B. I tell you, Matty, I really love what you do and your channel. I was watching some of your shows over the weekend, and I got to watch you do a little bit of your dueling piano. And man, you really have an incredible, you can't tell right here, but you really have an incredible voice.
Thanks.
And, great on the piano. So folks, not only will you be entertained by this channel because the gentleman plays a mean piano and he's got a beautiful voice, but he also spits out some amazing knowledge. And so with that, I've got a couple quick questions for you about Bitcoin. Is that all right?
Fire away.
All right, man. So Bitcoin seems to be sitting in this kind of channel, we're like right around 24. Doesn't want to go above 25, but it doesn't seem like it goes, anytime it goes under 24, it like kind of pops right back. And so I've got some money sitting on the sidelines. I'm starting to do a little bit of trading here and there, like to do small leverage, just like 5x leverage, nothing major. But it really kind of feels like I'm in limbo right now. Like I'd really like to see it either break up to 28 or break down to 20 so that I feel comfortable making some moves. But I think with your expertise, is there a way to nail it down a little bit, more precise than that? Like if it were to break down to 23.5, might that be a good time to maybe think about shorting? Or if it broke up to 25.5, would that maybe be a good time to long it rather than waiting for 28 or 20? Or what are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, I think first off, if you are anchored in the fact that this may be 12 months to 18 months of nothing but choppy nothingness, right? If you start from there, getting in that water with shorts or longs, I mean, you got to have a lot of experience, I think, to do that first off, to even try to, especially when it's not moving. Like I think there was a lot of people that became professional traders in the bull market because you can just, it was shooting fish in a barrel. I put in a 10x long and went up to 3,000 in 5 minutes, right? That's not normal. And I think people are probably going to learn some good lessons in the bear market. And this is where to learn, right? So like you're talking about that 23.5, I think that's where where that rising wedge will break out of. And if we hit that, there's 22.6. I could have these numbers on, I'm just remembering from this morning, which is outside of that rising wedge. Could find support. But I'm kind of in the camp that no matter where it goes, it's still going to go down. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you've experienced this too. A lot of the comments I get when one of the shows is basically bearish, it's good, I think it's going to go here. Everyone's kind of like, yes, if we're going to go down, let's go way down, right? And that happened at about 28K. At 28K, all hope for the all-time high bus coming back disappeared, and then people got on the let's ride it down, right? And so I'm almost weary because there's so many people that want it to go down. Obviously, the market does exactly the opposite of what everyone wants it to do. So it's really until between 20 and 30, I just think we're going to be here for, 12 months. And if you're a good scalper, best of luck to you to get in and out. It's tough. Like I'm looking at the chart now. It's just so wild. Like besides wedges and channels, it's really nothing. I used to be able to put a pattern in there, whether it was, like a head and shoulders pattern or or like even a bear flag or a bull flag. They were always, almost every day I could find one. Now it's like I'm really searching for anything, and I'm getting creative sometimes, making patterns where there's not even patterns, right? But I'm essentially like the rising wedge yesterday was an ascending channel. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's time to make this a rising wedge. Both kind of bearish, like probabilities that it's going to break out. But, the one thing that I always tell everyone is that who knows? Just if you think you know what's going to happen, I don't know. That's when you really get rocked. And the problem that I've heard a lot is that people lose their stack because they're not putting in stop losses, right? And I get the concept of no stop loss in crypto, because it can just wick down and up, and then you're gonna miss those gains. But I'm a firm believer, without a stop loss, it's just a countdown to losing your stack. And maybe you got to make those, like, you got to get tighter on your trades. If you're not willing to put in a stop loss, I don't know. It's not going to be good news eventually, especially when it can go up. Like the last time when I was trading currency, I started going down the conspiracy of stop hunters, right? And it's like, well, the market makers know where everything is. It's not like a blind auction where no one knows what the bids are and what people are buying or selling, right? There's people that know, and they're going to adjust accordingly. And the stops always stop everyone out. If you trying to outsmart it by 20%, well, they know that too, so it's a tough game out there. I would wait unless you're a hardcore shorter, I just wait for the bull market and put one in. I'm a big fan of DCA because I'm a market sociopath. I don't care bullish or bearish, because I know where it's going eventually. So I don't care if it goes down to 3K, like great. If it goes up to 100K, nothing in my life changes, right? That's what most people don't realize. Maybe people have put in 10 grand to take out 100K, right? That is even a mistake. If you were to put in 10 grand, it goes to 100K and you take it out, that's probably the biggest mistake of your life. I do believe you got to take some profits, maybe take that 10K off the table, right? But leave that thing to grow, because it's just going to go up from here. And we're so early that it's like, I forget how early we are till I go out in public. So for instance, I do that piano stream Friday, Saturday at an actual bar, right? And no one in that bar knows that I do the Bitcoin channel. They don't even know about Bitcoin. If I bring it up, it's just
right.
Like, no one knows anything. And then I'm reminded, yeah, we're so early. I forgot what the question was.
No, man, that's awesome. You imparted some fantastic knowledge there. And just to make sure that I understood you correctly, and this is amazing, folks, because I have a gentleman here that knows the charts, that does amazing TA. But if I understood you correctly, your advice to most people is just a dollar cost average and hold for the long term. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, because I kind of look at it like Formula One racing, like a real professional trader. When I was a professional trader for currency, it took up 24/7 of my life. Like if there was more time in the day or night, it was being used up, because you need to know every geopolitical, everything that's going on with banking, all the announcements all over the world. And there's no different than in the Bitcoin market. You need to know everything that's happening, because one announcement from the Fed and everything can go sideways on you, right? No matter what the technicals say.
Yep.
So if you're not a Formula One racer / trader, well, chances are you're probably going to crash your car and, hopefully get out alive. But it's hairy in the markets, right? You got to be really good.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there, because what I've found over the last few years is becoming wealthy in crypto is not sexy. Everybody thinks that they're going to jump in and they're going to buy some Shiba Inu and then they're going to be rich. But I jumped in right at the peak of the last bull market at the tail end of 17 going into 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I got slaughtered in 18 and 19 and most of 20. And I tell most people that the only thing that I did right was that I held everything, even though I was down 90, 95, 99%. I was investing money that I could afford to invest long term.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, everybody will tell you in crypto, never invest money that you can't afford to lose, or in any investment. But I think in crypto, it's almost more important to tell people, don't invest money that you can't afford to leave in the market long term.
Right.
But it's pretty, I mean, anything can happen. But I believe, my own personal opinion is that if you can hold your crypto for 2 to 5 years, it's near impossible to come out a loser.
Yeah, and there's no better strategy than DCA. Even just the concept of taking worthless fiat blood money and turning it into a pristine asset, even if it's $50 a week, you know that it's going somewhere, that it's going to grow. Whether just leave it in the bank, is going to get stolen from you every single day. So anytime I got anything extra lying, it just immediately goes into a wallet and it's on the side as powder.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So, folks, those of you that are watching the show, I mean, hope that you take this to heart, that there's amazing money to be made in crypto. And really, if you can educate yourself during these bearish times and just dollar cost average into some of the top 25 tokens. What I love about the bear market is that right now you can buy, Matic and Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum at rock bottom prices, where I think that during a bull market, when Bitcoin's sitting at 65 or 70,000, you have to kind of look for a little bit of those lower cap gems if you want to make amazing gains. And of course, those lower cap gems come with a lot higher risk. Right now, you can buy the Apples and the Microsofts and the Teslas and the Starbucks of the world at extremely discounted prices, and then just kind of relax and enjoy the next couple of years, and all of a sudden the wealth needle in your life is going to change exponentially.
For sure.
So the reason I asked you about your trading is because I'm doing something a little bit unique, or not maybe unique, but unique to me, where I created a challenge where I have a couple of community members that have put up $10,000 of their funds. And the rules of the challenge, then, we call it the 10K to 100K bankroll challenge. I'm taking their $10,000 and investing it any way I want. I can buy tokens and hold them. I can buy and sell, swing trade. I can long and short the market. I can use 1x or 5x leverage. If I want to, I could use 125x leverage. It's all on me, with the agreement that if I lose the $10,000, I'm going to give them back 5,000 of the dollars. So I've got some skin in the game. I'm not just able to do whatever I want to do with no recourse. And also, if I turn the 10,000 into the 100,000, then we do a split where they get 75,000 of the 100 and I get 25. And it also makes for some pretty cool YouTube videos. But like I told these gentlemen, I can turn your 10 into 100 by 2025, but I'd be doing it. I wouldn't be doing you a service, because you can do that all on your own,
right?
Just by doing what we talked about.
Yeah.
So my goal is to do it in like a 3 to 6 month time frame, and so I definitely am looking to long and short, conservatively. Like I took a tenth of a Bitcoin and moved it over to Bybit, is what I'm using. And I'm just doing some 5x leverage. And even then, I didn't throw the whole tenth of a Bitcoin into a short. I did 0.25 of the 0.1, so that I have a little bit of room. What I've been doing is, let's say I throw in a short at 24, just for argument's sake. My liquidation at 5x leverage wasn't until almost 30. So now let's say that Bitcoin runs up to 25.5, and now I throw in another quarter of that tenth. That's going to move my liquidation up to 32 or 33, say, and I can layer it in. So even if I'm wrong and Bitcoin runs all the way from 24 up to 30 while I'm shorting it, by the time it hits 30, my liquidation is still way up at, like, say, 35 or 36. And then my average, I started off at a $24,000 average short price, but by the time it gets up to 30, my average might be, say, 27 or 28. So when it starts to head back down, I can get into profit. So I've been kind of playing with that, and it's been working out relatively well on lower numbers, because I don't want to just throw the whole 10,000 in there and risk losing it in one bad move. But what do you think about that? And if you were trying to turn 10,000 into 100,000 in 3 to 6 months, what kind of a strategy would you employ?
Well, as it stands now, I talk myself every day out of panic buying. Like I'll just watch some videos, do some research, and I'm like, I gotta just put it all in right now. Who cares if it goes down to 12? Who cares, right? To me, dollar cost averaging saves all that emotional and psychological baggage, right? So, 3 to 6 months, I would put it all in and just wait. Cause in 3 to 6 months, November, I'm kind of looking for, if it doesn't hit, that 12K, that 10K, whatever it may or may not hit by November, I think, you put in along there, you're pretty okay.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah, my strategy is I keep hoping that we get that relief rally up to around 30. I'm having gone through the bear market of 18, 19, and 20, I won't be excited about that at all as far as us moving up towards all-time highs. I know it's a fake out and that we're going to come back down. And I'm with you. I believe we're going to see 10 or 12 or $14,000 Bitcoin at some point in time. So once it gets up into that $30,000 range, I am probably going to put a pretty good short in. And then my goal is to ride that short all the way down to that $10,000 to $14,000 range, at which point in time, I believe that some of the top tokens like Chainlink and Polkadot and Matic and Solana and Avalanche are going to be beaten down so far that if I flip it from the Bitcoin into some of those top altcoins, now let's say I short 10,000 from 30 down to 12, I'm probably going to turn the 10,000 into what, 30 or 40 on the way down. If I've got a 5x leverage in somewhere in that ballpark, now I put that 30 into these altcoins that are have the crap beat out of them. Like if Polkadot gets down to a couple bucks and you buy, $30,000 worth of Polkadot, it's only got to bounce back up to $6 to triple that to 90K.
Right.
Does that sound like a reasonable strategy to be thinking about employing?
It does. Again, you got to be Formula One on that, right? Like when I read that on paper, it's gold. I'm gonna short it at 30, write it down to 12, 4x it, and then stick it into a low performing alt, and then quad exit. Like, yeah, I'm sold.
Sounds good, huh?
I'll give you my 10K. How's that?
Right?
Yeah,
awesome, man. Well, it's a lot of fun trying, and then like I said, it makes for a good YouTube video. I'm trying to update the challenge on Tuesdays. Today I've got this live stream, so I might not get it updated until tomorrow. But yeah, I'm glad to have you here and be able to kind of run that by you.
For sure, it's a good idea.
So at this point, it looks like we've got a handful of people watching this sucker. Is there anybody in the chat that has any questions for Matty or myself? Don't be shy, man. We are here to help. And I know that, between the two of us, we could probably, give you guys some good tips, not financial advice. Neither one of us are financial advisors. We don't have our securities licenses. It's just a couple of guys that are creating freedom for ourselves through crypto and love helping other people. But yeah, if anybody in the chat has any questions, I would love to get some answered.
I find those battered alts are so juicy sometimes that it takes everything I got to not put some of that powder in it. But I once I get in there, I start kind of down the gambler's fallacy, and I try to maintain being a market sociopath and not caring. But some of those alts, they just get so beaten up. You're like, oh man, that's looking pretty juicy right now. But I just stay out because it's not that I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I'm just a human minimalist. Like when there's a lot of humans behind a team, it's just like relationships. They're going to fight. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to steal. Something's going to happen if there's humans involved. So I try to mitigate my risk when it comes to humans in the crypto market. That's why I like Bitcoin, especially after the Luna fiasco. That kind of really changed things for me. I moved a lot of things into Bitcoin after that.
Okay, great. Here's a question. I'll let you take a shot at it if this is something that you feel comfortable talking about at all. Wood Dust 6 here says, what's your thoughts on staking and liquidity pools?
That's a good question, especially after the fiascos that have taken place, right? Like, I don't know if the market will ever be the same after that. Unfortunately, it will take regulation. And as soon as that comes on board, I'm out too, right? So it's like, I don't see a future in it for me because I don't want to deal with banks and I don't want it to be insured by a bank, which is the only way that's going to make everyone feel safe. And I just think these liquidity pools and these staking, I mean, they're risky because there's humans involved, and we've seen what these humans can do, and it blows my mind, some of the things that have occurred. So as juicy as it is, let's say you're sitting on $1 million of Bitcoin, you want to put it in and make 20 points on it. I mean, that's a nice living to just live off 20 points of $1 million, right? But the risk is it's gone in 24 hours. Someone texts you, "Hey, Brad, something's happening over on so-and-so." You're like, bullshit, it can never happen, right? Sure enough, right? It's zero, right? So you lived off the 20 points for 8 months and, now it's gone.
And now your million's gone. Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of feel similar. I had all of my tokens, all of my crypto and cold storage and private wallets for a long time. And I kind of got tired of it just sitting there doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And so I started to do a little bit of liquidity pool and staking. And it seemed like most of the good liquidity pools with the higher interest rate, the problem that I ran into was the token depreciated in price faster than the interest that I received.
Yeah.
And then especially like in a bear market like this, if you were staking or providing liquidity 6 months ago, now you're down 90% that impermanent loss. So I've used a little bit of Nexo for a few of my tokens. I had a little bit in Celsius and a little bit in Voyager. So I kind of got bit by that, not enough to really affect my life. But, I know people that do. I've got a good friend, guy that I care about a lot, that had $500,000 worth of stuff in Voyager. I mean, it was down to about $100,000 worth because, of the market, but it's still, if he just be able to hold that for a couple more years, he was going to be, probably have 5 or 10 million lying around. The good news, like I tell him, if Bitcoin drops down to 10 or 12, like we think it is, he'll probably be able to replace that $100,000 for 50 and still be in great shape when 2024, 2025 rolls around. But yeah, so wood dust, I think it's risk versus reward. If you wanted to take say you have 100% of your portfolio and you wanted to take 5 or 10% of it and play around with some liquidity pools and with some staking, I would say, it might be worth, messing around with. But at the same time, is that 10% going to earn you enough to make it worth your time? But I think in general, the best move is to keep it safe, keep it in private wallets, and just wait for 2024, 2025 to come around and crush it for you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't mind losing it all as long as it was my fault. Right? I don't want to be sitting there thinking that I did everything right and somebody else screwed up and lost everything I had. I wouldn't be able to. I would disappear and get a real job doing something. I don't know.
I get you. Here we go. This is kind of funny. BitBoy Mod Steph. I was going to ask Matty if he is a maxi.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah. Again, I'm not a maxi. I'm just a human minimalist.
I understand. I like it. My cousin says, "Do you think we will be able to get our tokens back from Voyager?" Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? The short answer is no. I don't, and I think most people should just kind of move on thinking it's gone, right? And if it comes back, you know how long these things take. Like, it's not going to be a phone call tomorrow saying, "Hey, we got it back. Where's your wallet?" Right? It's going to take forever, and then it's going to be maybe a percentage of it, and who knows in what line you're in to eventually get it. I mean, it's the worst thing that could ever happen at the end of that glorious bull run is to have all those collapses and people lose their assets. It's heartbreaking. But I mean, I think the best thing to do is just move on from it. And, if it comes back, it comes back. I know it's easier said than done, but.
Yeah, I understand, because I loved Voyager. I liked the idea of earning, 10 or 12% on my Polkadot while I was waiting for it to moon. I had a referral link to Voyager in my description. I was always very careful to tell people, don't put all of your eggs in one basket, that you want to, as your crypto portfolio grows, you want to have it in different places so that no one place can, totally affect your life. But at the same time, when you have new people coming into crypto and they've only got 5 or 10,000, it feels like, okay, I've only got 10 grand. I'm going to keep it in Voyager here. I'm going to earn some percentage points on my different cryptos while they're growing. And then the next thing you know, their whole $5,000 or $10,000 nest egg is gone. It's definitely heartbreaking and it's frustrating. And it set the crypto market back. It's not permanent, just like I mentioned on Around the Blockchain the other day. I think the cryptocurrency market is inevitable. It's blockchain technology is so much better than what we're using right now that it's just a matter of time before it really breaks through and has mass adoption. But I agree with you. I would say if you have money on Voyager, kind of forget that it's there. Do take that to heart, like what I just mentioned a minute ago. That is, if you got 10,000 on Voyager, get $5,000 in cash together, and you probably be able to replace everything that you had on Voyager for $5,000 or less when Bitcoin does come down. If it comes down, me and Matty and a lot of other people, I know BitBoy, Ben from BitBoy Crypto is pretty staunch on the fact that he believes we're still in for some more pain. And I do agree with you though, that when everybody thinks that it's coming back, they could mess with us by pumping it up. But I just don't see with this economy and the inflation and everything. I don't like it. I would be amazed if we end up anywhere near 40, 50, 60,000 anytime this year.
Me too. Yeah, I'd be shocked. There's no tailwind behind it. Looks like Wood Dust did get his cash back. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is actually a friend of mine. He mentioned something in the chat, so I actually know who this is. And he's actually somebody that I started off kind of doing some one-on-one consulting with not too long ago. Luckily for him, he had deposited US dollars into Voyager, but hadn't actually bought crypto with it yet. And the fiat, the US dollars, was FDIC insured and was being held in a bank. So he got, I think, he had maybe 90% of his money in USD and it only deployed about 10% into crypto. So he was able to get his fiat back. For those of us that had nothing but crypto in there, we've got a little bit longer road. And probably my guess is maybe we get 10 to 25% back is my uneducated guess. I could be way off on that, but that's what I'm thinking is probably going to happen eventually.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate and heartbreaking. At 10%, by the time it gets back, you won't even care. You'll be on to something else. And I think you might as well just get to that place now rather than,
Absolutely. So why don't we do this? Are you able to go over and look at your YouTube channel and check out those comments, see if we can pick a winner?
Let me see here.
While you're doing that, I'm going to share my screen again and get over there myself.
Oh, maybe it's easier on my phone here.
And folks, if you haven't done it yet, hop over here. I'll throw this link in the chat. You're going to have to move fast. But if you didn't see this part, we are giving away a $20 bill to the best comment. Go subscribe to Piano Matty B's YouTube right here through this link. This is the actual video that we want you to make a comment on. So run over there, subscribe to the channel, make a comment, say something so that he knows it's from this live stream. Maybe just say, Infinite Crypto sent me or something along those lines so that he knows that you actually commented because of this stream. And then he's going to pick out a winner and I'm going to send him $20 in USDC. It looks like you got, let me see, 9 hours ago, 11 hours ago. So you can kind of see what the newer comments are, if there are any. Hopefully the Infinite Crypto family stepped up and threw a comment or two on this video.
Well, there's a few comments here. One, I can't understand what it is. Live streams are beasts to get knowledge, but don't play trades on breakout ND on Burke Downs. I'm not sure what that is. And then build up for the bull run. Anazette. Let's go with Anazette.
Anazette is definitely from Infinite Crypto.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say?
The build up for the bull run. Hands up.
Okay. All right. There we go. I see. I just had to refresh my screen, so it looks like there's a couple of newer comments there.
Well, see, that's how real the struggle is that I'm on YouTube and I'm having a hard time finding the comments on my phone because I go to YouTube Studio and then it won't show you comments, right? And if you've seen them before, so I guess I should have went to the actual YouTube, but then I wouldn't know how to get to that.
Right. So those of you that are still on the stream, it looks like there's 9 of you. If you have went and subscribed to Piano Matty's YouTube channel, throw a 1 in the chat for us. And please be honest. If you subscribe to Piano Matty, throw a 1 in the chat here. Let's see if any of you are subscribed that threw a comment in there. Throw a 1 in the chat for me, please. You know, this is going to get a lot of views after the fact too. So there we go. We got a few new subscribers, and hopefully those of you that are watching this video, watching the recording, will go over and show Matty B some love. And maybe we'll go back over in a few days and maybe pick out a second comment and stuff. So it looks like we got Anna Zette and Steve and Wooddesk, Investor Lee. So why don't you go ahead and pick, you know, however you want to do it. Pick from one of those 4 or 5 people that look like they subbed to your channel. Pick a winner, and I will get their address and shoot them a $20 bill.
Let's go with Anna Zette.
Okay. Anna Zette is the winner. I will get Anna Zette's. Do me a favor, throw that in the description of your YouTube bio, and I will throw you a $20 bill when we get off this live stream. Awesome. With that, I know that it's about that time of the night where you like to unwind and enjoy the rest of your evening and get ready. Piano Matty gets up and does a live stream every morning at 3:30 in the morning.
Well, it's not live. It's not live. The production.
Oh, it's not live. Okay.
Yeah, production starts at 3:30. So bedtime's about 8 o'clock.
Awesome, man. So what time does it normally get posted to YouTube then?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Central Time?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so 8 o'clock Central Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Look out for Piano Matty B's TA analysis. Like I say, it's a lot of fun. It's you know, between the piano and the sing. I love listening to you with your rhymes and how you put it all together. It's pretty amazing show, and you're going to learn a lot from it too. So with that, you know, if you've got any parting thoughts, are there any other social medias, Twitter or anything else that you would like people to follow you on?
Yeah, I have the Twitter and the Instagram. I'm most active on YouTube. I think everything is a function of it. You know, Twitter kind of grows when YouTube grows. So I try to push everyone to YouTube. That's my main goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here, Matty. I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasure getting to know you better. And let's definitely do it again sometime here in the not too distant future.
For sure. Thanks again, Brad. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Absolutely. All right. Goodbye. God bless everybody. Have a great evening.